Welcome back to The Explainer. Look, today we are unpacking something that has literally gone viral for completely reshaping how people handle stress and messy relationships. It's called the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. And the whole premise here is actually brilliantly simple. We're going to talk about reclaiming your personal energy by dropping the absolute exhaustion of trying to manage everyone else around you. So, let's just jump right in. What if happiness, success, and, just having better relationships literally came down to two words? I know, it sounds almost too simple, right? Like, no way. But stick with me through this explainer because as you'll see, these two words act like this highly sophisticated psychological circuit breaker, and it's designed to give you your power back. To really get why we desperately need this, let's picture a scenario. I mean, we've all been here. You send a text to a friend, you see that little read receipt pop up, and then crickets, total silence. Hours go by. And what happens? You completely spiral. Your brain just starts churning. Are they mad at me? Did I say something weird? You're sitting there drafting mental apologies, wasting your whole afternoon trying to decode someone else's silence. It is just so exhausting, isn't it? Well, that exact exhaustion brings us right to a massive psychological trap. We call it the illusion of control. This is that false, really deep-rooted belief that we can somehow guarantee our own safety and happiness if we just micromanage how other people behave. We trick ourselves into thinking, hey, if I can just get my partner to act this certain way or my boss to be perfectly fair, then I'll finally feel okay. But reality check, trying to control the uncontrollable is literally burning us out. It's like trying to hold water in a clenched fist. So, where did the cure for this come from? Interestingly enough, it didn't come from some sterile psychology lab. It came straight out of the total chaos of a teenage prom night. Mel Robbins, who fully admits to being a bit of a micromanager herself, was totally panicking because her son's prom plans were falling apart. No dinner reservations, pouring rain, just a total disaster. And right as she was about to explode and try to fix the whole shebang, her daughter Sawyer grabbed her arm and said the 5 words that sparked this entire movement. Mom, let them. She looked right at her and said, let them ruin their tennis shoes. Let them go out in the rain. It's their prom, not yours. And in that exact second, Robbins just stepped back. She stopped fighting reality. And guess what happened? The kids ran out into the pouring rain laughing. They made these incredible memories. Releasing control in that moment didn't end in disaster. It actually led to pure joy. And that story perfectly captures this essential two-part framework. Let's break it down. On one side, you have let them. That's the art of the release. It's when you consciously detach your own energy from someone else's choices. But, and this is absolutely crucial, that is only half the equation. If you just let go, you're probably going to end up feeling kind of lost or lonely. So, you have to immediately pivot to the action step, let me. You ask yourself, okay, given this situation, what can I do right now to take care of myself and move my own life forward? Now, let's be crystal clear about what this is not. Let them is absolutely not about passivity. It's not about being a doormat, and it's 100% not about tolerating abuse. And it definitely isn't just indifference. You aren't just throwing your hands up and giving up. What you're actually doing is acknowledging reality so you can take your power back. You are making an active choice to stop fighting a battle you are literally never going to win anyway. The battle to change another person. Let's look at how this mental pivot plays out with a regular, everyday stressor. Say a friend cancels plans on you at the very last minute. The old you probably gets resentful, maybe starts a passive-aggressive text war, but the new you says, let them. They're showing you where their priorities are. And then, bam, the immediate pivot. Let me. Let me take myself out on a solo date. Let me call someone else. Let me use this suddenly free evening to catch up on my favorite hobby. See what happened? You instantly shifted from being the victim of a canceled plan to being the architect of your own night. Now, what's really fascinating here is the deep psychology underneath this simple shift. It's all about moving from an external locus of control to an internal one. When you're externally focused, you feel totally powerless. You're just a victim to traffic, bad bosses, flaky friends. But when you apply let them and let me, you are mathematically, systematically rewiring your brain for an internal locus of control. You become empowered because you're focusing entirely on your own actions and your own mindset. And hey, don't just take a viral social media trend's word for it. This framework, it's anchored in decades, actually centuries, of proven science and philosophy. Cognitive behavioral therapy uses this exact same mechanism to treat anxiety by separating what we can control from what we can't. It's basically a modern spin on ancient stoicism.
Think Epictetus or Marcus Aurelius. It mirrors the Buddhist idea of non-attachment, ending the suffering that comes from wanting things to be different than they are. It even lines up perfectly with detachment theory from programs like AA. It's seriously well-validated stuff.
Okay, so knowing the science is great and all, but how do we actually apply this abstract idea to the real messiness of our daily routines and our complicated relationships? Let's put this theory to the test. Let's start with the workplace. Here's a scenario I guarantee most of us have dealt with. Your boss walks into the office in just a terrible mood. They're shutting down, snapping at people, taking their awful morning out on the whole team. Your first instinct is probably to walk on eggshells, try to fix their mood, or obsessively wonder, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? Instead of doing that, let's run it through our dual framework. First step, let them. Let them have their bad day. It is not about you, and it is definitely not your job to manage their emotions. Then you hit step 2, let me. Let me pop on my noise-canceling headphones. Let me just focus on crushing my own work today. Let me protect my peace. By letting them marinate in their own mood, you take back the power to protect your own focus. Game changer, right?
But wait a second. What if you actually do need to influence someone, like a loved one who's genuinely struggling? Well, the source material gives us a pretty sophisticated behavioral tool for this. It's called the ABC loop. Step A is apologize and ask. You apologize for your part in any tension, and you ask open-ended questions about how they're doing. Step B is back off. Give them space. Do not lecture them. Don't try to fix it right then and there. And step C is celebrate. When you see even the smallest step in the right direction, celebrate it. This loop lets you positively influence someone without falling back into that exhausting trap of trying to control them.
So the crucial point here is how this whole theory transforms our anxious, everyday personas. Maybe you're the micromanager who overfunctions because you're terrified of chaos, or the people pleaser constantly hunting for gold stars and external validation. Or maybe you're the righteous judge, getting super frustrated when people just won't follow your rules. The let them framework disrupts every single one of these patterns. It transforms you into a secure navigator. That's a balanced, self-governed person who knows exactly where their power lies and doesn't waste a drop of energy where it doesn't. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Doesn't let them just lead to isolation or loneliness or even nihilism? Like, if we just let everybody do whatever they want, aren't we going to end up completely detached? And this, my friends, is exactly why that second step is totally non-negotiable. Let me is the engine that prevents passivity. You are not checking out of life. You are actively, deliberately deciding how you are going to engage with it. If you really want to make this real in your own life, the book actually outlines a 30-day challenge to build the muscle. It's pretty brilliant. Week 1 is simply awareness, just carrying a journal and noticing when you get triggered into trying to control someone. Week 2 is release, actually practicing the words let them out loud, but in super low stakes situations. Week 3 brings in the action, following up immediately with let me and doing something tangible for yourself. And finally, week 4 is integration, applying all of this to your most difficult relationships. You really have to treat this as a daily practice, not just a one-and-done fix. And you know what the ultimate reward is for keeping up with this practice? It's captured so beautifully in this quote right from the source material. The people who truly want to be in your life will always make room for you. You won't have to force it. Seriously, think about that. When you stop chasing people, when you stop trying to micromanage every single dynamic, you create space. And in that space, you start attracting authentic relationships that don't constantly exhaust you. So I'm going to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. As you go about your week and you inevitably run into the frustrating things other people do, you have a very clear choice. Are you going to keep spinning your wheels, wasting your precious energy on the illusion of control? Or will you take a deep breath, say let them, and step decisively into the personal freedom of let me? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.